Hello, everyone, and thank you for coming to Sandra's Stenography and Shorthand Dictation. I sure appreciate you being here. Um, Alexa, turn on Ocean Sound. Welcome back to Ocean Sounds. You now have the option to unlock a longer sound clip and high-quality audio with True membership. It's perfect for light sleepers, and new subscribers can try it free for 14 days. Would you like to learn more? No, thank you. If you change your mind, just say Ask Ocean Sounds about Pro membership. In the meantime, please leave a 5-star review for Ocean Sounds by Invoke Taps. Alright, we got Alexa going on over here. Got some ocean sounds going on back here. Because we're going to ready to do some phrases. Yep, we're going to do some phrases. And the phrases we're going to be working with today is the if. Yes. And I am sure that you're up for the challenge. Yes, you are, because I love phrases. I used to make up my own phrases and stuff. So I love me some phrases. So this is going to be phrases. Thank you for coming to Sandra's Stenography and Shorthand Dictation. I appreciate everyone that tunes in even after I'm done. So I appreciate that. If you like this video, give it the thumbs up. That tells me that you like this, and I should bring you more of that. That's the only way I can know. I can't read minds. So please give this video a thumbs up if you like it. I would really appreciate it. Really, really appreciate it. I mean, really appreciate it. Um, this is phrases, if phrases. Let me go ahead and get started. Pull this up, bam. And if you're wondering, oh, if phrases, in case you're new to my channel or you don't know anything about STENO, which we call stenography, which is what court reporters use to take down the verbal um, word, the word. So listen, phrases are things that can help you write faster, because in court reporting, you want to be able to write fast. They have contests for that. So you want to be able to write fast. And the way you can write fast is by using phrases, just in case you don't know anything at all about court reporting. So with me and my steno theory, which is STENED, we would write that F, my T and P is my F, and then if I was writing if, that's my if. So if I was writing if I, and E and U, which is on, I need to pull up my, do I need to get my, okay, so got your machine, right? You have your machine, right? You are here, right? This is the machine I bought quite some time ago. So you got your machine, right? And you're sitting there, right? Let me see if I can get my computer to look down. Oh, you can. So you see my hands, right? So this is my space bar, right? Here's your asterisk, right? You got your files down here, and then FPLT. So if I was writing if and this is my if, my T and my P here is my if, and E and U is my I would strike all four of those at the same time. If I wish I had some paper, right? right? That's my FI, right? I don't want to write on my patent. So I'm just going to stick this in there real quick. Right? So see if I can just stick this in here. So anyway, so that's my FI, right? So if E is my he, and this is still my F right here, if he, if I, if he, if I. You feel me? If you will, FUL. If I, if you. You see how you can go with that? FU, if you. You can go with the FU be G here is your what else? If you will. If this is my D and this is my U, and D stands for this final D stands for did, if you did, if you will, FUL, if I, if you, if he, if you will, if you have, if you have, if you F here is my V, if you have. If this is my V, if you have. See? Look at that. I'm trying to show y'all this something. I don't even know if I got the thing on, the chat on. And that's pretty much court reporting. That's pretty much it. That's your court reporting. You sit here, you sit somewhere, you get you a machine right here, get you one of these machines, and then you just start practicing and writing. That's it. If you will, if you have, if you can, if you are. Mm-hmm. Yep. That's court reporting. Anybody want to know what court reporting is? That's what court reporting is. Sitting somewhere in a room and going over the same stuff over and over until one day you finally get it. Now let's go over these if you will words. Let's work with these. For those of you that might be new to my channel, I don't want to rush ahead. Thank you guys who already know how to do that for letting me show them that. In case we got some newbies on this channel. New people wanting to do court reporting every day. So let me pull up this dictation. We're going to go ahead and get started. Ready? If I, if he, if we, if you, if I have ever, if I ever, if I ever go, if I know, if I will, if I will go. That's your LG on your final side, on the final keyboard, right hand. If he will, FEL, if he will go, FELG. If we have, FE final P initial PH I final F. If I have. if we are, if we ever. Instead of using you're using your E for the vowel. If we have been, if we know, if we go, if you have, if you are, if you ever, if you have been. Let's go through them a little bit quicker this time. Ready? If I, if he, if we, if you, if I have, if I ever, if I ever go, if I know, if I will, if I will go, if he will go, if we have, if we are, if we ever, if we have been, if we know, if we go, if you have, if you are, if you ever, if you have been. If you're having trouble with these, go on over there to Briefpedia, www.briefpedia.com. Put in the word, like if you're having trouble with, I already have it open. If you have, just click in the search, type if you have, click search, and they've got it with T asterisk UF. And F is some people's V on to end the V, like Steve. That's the final F. I mean that final F is the final V, should I say? So they also have if you T and the TP on the initial side of the keyboard is people's F, most people's Fs. So if you, of course, it's going to be if and you, if you. If you have, that would be FUV. You could do it. They have several ways you could do it here. You could do it TKP on the initial side, then UF. That could be your if you have. You could throw an A in and do TP, which is the F on the initial side, AUV. That's if you have. You can also do it that way. You could do you could do FUFD. F on the initial, U for the vowel, F on the final side, and the D on the final side. Get me? Bam. So there's a lot of ways that you can do it, and they give you a lot of possibilities in case you're having issues with, oh, I write that the same way as I write this word, so conflicts. So this can Briefpedia cause it, can get you out of a lot of conflicts. Go over there and try it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get do this again. We're gonna run through this these if words. We're gonna go a little slower this time. Then I'll speed it up. Ready? If I ever. If I ever go. If I know. If I will. If I will go. If he will. If he will go. If we have. If we are. If we ever. If we have been. If we know. If we go. If you have. If you are. If you ever. If you have been. Again, if you have been. If you ever. If you are. If you have. If we go. If we know. If we have been. If we ever. If we are. If I will. If I know. If I ever go. If I ever. If you have been. If I will go. If we are. If we go. If he will. If we ever. If you have been. If I know. If he will go. If we have been. If you are. If I will. If you ever. If we know. If we have. If I ever. If you have been. If we have been. If he will go. If I ever go. If we are. If we go. If I know. If we have. If we know. If you ever. If he will. If you will go. If I ever. If I go. If I know. If I will. If I will go. If he will. If he will go. If we have. If we are. If we are ever. If we ever. If we have been. If we know. If we go. If you have. If you are. If you ever. If you have been. If I ever. If I go. If I know. If I will. If I will ever go. If I will go. If he will. If he will go. If we have. If we are. If we ever. If we have been. If we know. If we go. If you have. If you are. If you ever. If you have been. If I ever. If I will go. If we are. If we go. If I ever go. If he will. If we ever. If you have. If you have been. If I know. If he will go. We have been. If you are. If I will. If we have. If we know. If you ever. If you have been. If I ever. If I ever go. If I know. If I will. If I will go. If he will. If he will go. If we have. If we are. If we ever. If we have ever been. If we know. If we go. If you have. If you are. If you ever. If you have been. If I ever. If I ever go. If I know. If you ever. If he will. If we have. If we are. If you have. If we go. One more last time. Nice and steady now. If I ever. If I ever go. If I know. If I will. If I will go. If he will. If he will go. If we have. If we are. If we ever. If we have been. If we know. If we go. If you have. If you are. If you ever. If you have been. Let's write these words. Maple. Purple. Rabble. Rabble. Pebble. Bible. Table. Cable. So let's see here. I was looking for some more phrases. But it's actually giving me is that phrases? Mm, well, well, it's actually giving me wait a minute. They're giving me a few more here in this book. It's giving me had I, which would be in my theory would be HEI. H is for had, and the I is for I, had I. And then there's will you have. That's my HR, because my HR, if you can see that. This is my HR here. This is my HR. So if I'm writing, and if this is my V, will you have would be HR, which is L. My HR is LUNV, love. I mean, will you have? Will you have? Because H and R equals L, U, and then here's my V. Will you have? Will you have? That will stand for will you have. So I don't know how you would write it in your theory, but then we have had I ever. H for me that would be HR because that's my L. So it would be L, U, and the F and the R, ever. Had I ever. Will you ever? I'm sorry. Did I say have? Yeah, will you have will be LUF. Had I ever would be H, just the H, because the H stands for had. Had. Over here, I've got my vowels. I'm grabbing my vowels. I'm grabbing E and U. I'm coming back up here on my right side on my ending, because this is my ending keyboard, and hit the F and the R. Have you ever? Have you ever? Bam. Have you ever? Bam. What else we got here? Will you ever? You are. I have. Are you? You have. Are you ever? And those are those. Let's go ahead and run through these right quick. Clear. There we go. Okay, ready? The HIs and some of the RUs. Had I, will you have, had I ever, will you ever, you are you, are you ever? Again, had I, will you have, had I ever, will you ever, you are, I have, if you are, you have, are you ever? A little quicker. You are, had I have, will you have, will you ever, if you are, You have. Are you ever? Let's run through them again. Had I? Are you ever? Had I ever? If you have? If I ever? If you are? You are? I have. Will you ever? Will you have? Had I? Had I ever? You are. I have. Are you? You have. Are you ever? Will you ever? Had I? Will you have? Will I ever? You are. I have. If you are, you have. Are you ever? Are you ever? If you have, are you? If you are, had I ever? Had I? Had I ever? Had I? Had I? Will you ever? Will you have? Had I? Had I ever? Will you ever? If you are, you are. If you are ever, you have. I have. If you are, had I. Will you ever? Had I ever? Will you ever? If you are, you are. You have. Have you ever? You have. If you are, you are. I have. Will I? Will you ever? Will you ever? Are you ever? You have. I have. You are. Are you? Are you ever? Will you ever? Had I ever? Had I? Will you? Will you have? Will will I ever? Had I ever? I think that's pretty good for that. Let me see here. Let's see. Let me try these sentences out. They had the first group in it. Number one, if you hear me say something close together, that means it's a phrase for that. You can go to Wikipedia and find out what that phrase is. Number one, if you ever go. There I will go to. Number two, from all I know, they have gone together. Number three, do you know where they are today? Number 4, the order will be for a large Bible. Number 5, did you tell your age? Number 6, I know that your ball lay on that table. Number 7, do you ever feel an order for coal from that company? I thank you for your letter. I hope you are well and able to go with your trip by this time. Wire me how you are and when I may look for you here. So, just wanted to work you out with some phrases. Hope that helped a lot. Trust me, it will help in the long run. So there are some if phrases and some are you phrases for you to practice on. Thank you so much for joining Sandra's Stenography and Shorthand Dictation. I hope everyone has a great evening, and may God bless each and every one of you and your families. Sandra's going to say bye-bye now. And happy writing, as always.